Okay, so today we are studying the cell structures and how they are seen with a very high quality light microscope. This is figure 1.4. It displays to you all the structures which are visible using a very high quality light microscope. Make sure that you make a list of these so that you do not miss on onto any of these structures. Make sure that you learn these terms, how they appear, and how to label and identify them on diagram. You can see the nucleus is visible with nuclear envelope, chromatin deeply staining and thread-like, and nucleolus also deeply staining, and it is occupying central position inside the cell. Going clockwise, you see a centriole which appears circular and always close to the nucleus and has a function in nuclear division. Going ahead, you have cytoplasm, which is the ground substance within the cell, and then you have Golgi bodies, which appear somewhat like Wi-Fi signals. I always give this analogy because it somehow makes it easier to remember. Then there are some small structures that are difficult to identify, for example, ribosomes, because they are too tiny to be seen with light microscope. Keep that in mind. We are using light microscope, which means that it is using light as a source of illumination. Then you have mitochondria, and you have cell surface membrane present in the animal cell. Generally, the animal cell is about 20 micrometers large, and this was how it looked like using a very high quality light microscope. If you look at a plant cell with a very high quality light microscope, these are the structures that you see. First of all, the cell structure shows you that the diameter of plant cell is larger. It's about 40 micrometers large. It is having the nucleus. Again, nucleus is deeply staining. It is having a nucleolus, deeply staining structure. It is having nuclear envelope, chromatin, which are deeply staining and thread like. Going in clockwise direction, there is mitochondria, there is cytoplasm, there is a large central vacuole, which is occupying the central position. There is cell surface membrane pressed against the cell wall. There is tonoplast, the membrane surrounding vacuole. All these are terms which you are familiar with. Then there is a middle lamella, which is a new term for you. It is a thin layer that holds and glues the adjacent plant cells together. It contains a compound called calcium pectate, which keeps the two plant cells held together and glued together, pretty much like the cement in between the blocks that you use to build a wall in our houses or in our rooms. Then there is a structure called plasmodesma. This is a new name. Again, plasmodesma is a gap where the cytoplasms of the two neighboring cells are in continuity. The analogy of door is somewhat can be useful here. Like you move from one room to another room using the door. So these are two cells having their cytoplasms interconnected through this gap, and this gap is the plasmodesma. Then there are cell walls of neighboring cells. Then the cell wall is shown to you. Chloroplast is shown to you. Grana in the chloroplast is just visible. And then there are again small structures that are difficult to identify. For example, ribosomes. And yes, Golgi apparatus is again visible within the plant cell. Keep that in mind that among all these structures, make sure that you learn their structures and you learn how they look like, how you can identify them, and where are they placed in the cell. For example, in plant cell, the nucleus is pushed to a side, whereas the central position is occupied by a large vacuole. Also keep that in mind that chloroplasts are larger than mitochondria, and nucleus is even larger than the chloroplast, and the vacuole is way more large than the nucleus. So these are the kind of questions that you should somewhat keep in mind and be prepared, because these are some take home messages. Light microscope, coming to the structural details of the light microscope, there is an eyepiece at the top with an eyepiece lens that magnifies and focuses the image from the objective lens into the eye. The light beam crosses the barrel and the turret, which is the tunnel in the microscope. There is an objective lens that collects the light passing through the specimen and produces a magnified image. It is having an objective lens. Eyepiece lens could either be 6x or 10x. You can use either. Objective lens again can be 10x or 40x either. 10x is a low power magnification and 40 is considered as high power. When you are using the light microscope, you use your glass slide where the specimen is present. You place a cover slip on top of the glass slide and you place the glass slide on the stage. Beneath the stage, there is a condenser. Inside the condenser, there is a condenser lens that focuses the light onto the specimen which is present on the glass slide under the cover slip. Beneath the condenser lens, you can see there's a condenser iris diaphragm. It can narrow up or widen the beam of light. It functions in the similar way as iris of our eyes. Beneath it, there is a light source, and you can see the path of light that as the light is turned on, it will pass through the condenser lens from the iris diaphragm. It goes to the condenser lens, then through the stage, it crosses the specimen's glass slide, and then it goes into the objective lens. It passes through the turret and the barrel of the microscope, eventually reaching the eyepiece lens and where the image can be viewed. Another thing here, eyepiece lenses comes as 6x or 10x. As I mentioned, an objective lens comes as 10x or 40x. 10x is low and 40x is high. We always use a combination of these lenses. One of eyepiece lenses used, you can use either 6 or 10 at one time, and any one of objective lenses paired with it. Objective lens is 10x or 40x, so use any one. So you use a combination of lenses. So 6x eyepiece lens can be used or paired up with a 10x objective lens, and the effective magnification will be the multiple of both. It means that the image will be 60 times magnified. For example, if I use an eyepiece of 10x and I use the objective lens of 40, my effective magnification will be 400x, which means my image will be 400 times magnified. Keep that in mind. Light microscope gives a magnified image, but cells are so tiny structures that magnification resolution for light microscope is low. Magnification is how enlarged the image is, and resolution is clarity. This is just the repetition of the same slide. You can see how a real image is formed, and you can follow this slide yourself. This is how I just gave this example here. This is the slide showing to you human cheek cells, and you are seeing this under 400 magnification. This is 400 magnification achieved when the eyepiece of 10x is paired with the objective of 40x, so the effective magnification becomes 400. You view this using this light microscope, and you can see these structures A, B, C, and D. I asked you to identify these organelles. So A is the cell membrane, B is the nucleus, C is the cytoplasm, and D is the nucleus again. Functions you can recall from your O levels: that cell membrane is partially permeable, B is nucleus, it contains the DNA and the genetic material, which is the hereditary information, and C is the cytoplasm where the chemical reactions take place, and it is having enzymes and all the nutrients and waste products as well. Lastly, keep in mind that you can see this is an image of how the human cheek cell or an animal cell looks like under 400 magnification, and do compare it to this very high quality image. This very high quality light microscope is showing you quite a few additional structures, for example mitochondria, for example the nuclear envelope details and the details of the nucleus, for example centrioles and Golgi. You can see that most of these are just not visible at 400x. Anyhow, so this is it for now.